A long fire, a bed of forest debris, wool, and a few old camp tricks can still make expensive gear look foolish when they solve the problem the gear cannot. And one of them is the best backup when the mountain weather quits matching the forecast. A sleeping bag can feel cold because heat is draining into the ground. One spark hole can turn a waterproof shell into a leaking one and let its insulation out. And a banked fire can wake up on its own while you are asleep if rules or conditions do not allow it. Most cold camps do not need another gadget. They need you to see where the heat, moisture, fuel, and effort are going. I have slept in tents since I was a boy camping with my dad. We'll start with fire, then the ground, wet gear, food, loads, and the sky. A little round fire is pleasant company. It is not automatically a heating system. Where the ground, the rules, and the wood supply allow it, a long fire puts its heat along the length of where you sleep instead of piling it in one small spot. Put a reflector behind it and it redirects some radiant heat toward you, blocks wind, and helps the smoke rise. Some heat still goes up and sideways. It is not a wood stove with the door shut. Before you build a stone reflector, leave river rocks and rocks from wet ground alone. Moisture trapped inside can turn to steam, fracture the rock, throw fragments into your eyes and exposed skin, and start another fire where you did not mean to have one. Use dry, suitable material, and hang the pot from a pot hook. You can raise it, lower it, and stop balancing supper on rolling sticks over unstable fuel. A two-burner stove still boils water quicker and cooks more reliably when wood is scarce, fire is banned, or camp is crowded. A stove cooks supper. A well-sited fire changes the patch of country where you sit. If you camp in a managed campground, that objection is correct. Check the land manager rules before the trip: wood collection, fire structures, digging, and whether the fire must be coaled out overnight. If banking is forbidden, extinguish it fully. A wind shift or disturbed ash can wake up a banked fire while you are asleep. Directional heat helps one side of you. The ground is working on the other. A sleeping bag can be warm above you and still feel cold because the ground pulls heat from your back and hips. More loft on top does not fix that. Cold ground does not care how proud you are of your sleeping bag. A debris bed traps air, but it compresses under your weight. Build enough that 4 to 6 inches remain beneath you, using a simple log frame to stop leaves or boughs spreading. Snow works by trapping air too, so it can insulate when you build with it or shelter against it. Dry leaves and pine needles can ignite rapidly if sparks blow underneath or a shelter collapses. Keep the bed away from the fire and its spark path. Buried coals and rocks can also stay hot for hours, burn hands, knees, or sleeping pads, and spread fire into roots or duff. Before heating rocks, know that rocks from rivers or wet ground can explode when internal moisture turns to steam. Fragments can injure eyes and skin and start fires. Even suitable rocks can fracture. Only then, where digging and fire are legal, heat them in a shallow trench, let the fire burn down, cover them with 2 to 3 inches of dirt, and place a moisture barrier over the soil. For planned cold trips, use a pad. Under R value 2 suits warm weather. Higher values give steadier insulation. If this sounds exhausting, it is. A good pad beats cleverness for most weekend campers. The ground steals heat slowly. Wet clothing and one spark can ruin the rest much faster. Wool earns its keep when it is damp, not because it performs magic. It takes water vapor into the fiber without feeling wet right away, and that process gives off a little heat. But wet wool is heavy, and it dries slower than fleece. Polyester fleece is warmer for its weight, so use wool where it helps. Socks, maybe a mid-layer. Keep synthetics where fast drying and low pack weight matter. No costumes required. Before you tend that fire, move your shell, down jacket, and sleeping bag well out of the spark path. A spark can melt a full thickness hole through synthetic fabric, turn a waterproof shell into a leaking one, let fill escape, and leave a weak spot that tears later. The fancy jacket belongs in weather. Around sparks, protect it from its own expensive cleverness. And do not dry gear directly over flames. Heat can scorch the outside while driving moisture inward, and it can damage shell fabric and sleeping bag loft. Hang it on a line above and well away from the fire, where it gets gentle rising warmth. In birch and pine country, birch bark and fat wood are fine tinder because bark has flammable terpenes and fat wood is full of waterproof resin. But they are not everywhere, and hard, wind-driven rain can beat good tinder. Carry a modern fire starter too. If all you own is synthetic gear, that is fine. Add wool a piece at a time, inspect your shell and hanging gear for spark holes before you leave camp, and move vulnerable items farther out. Once you are warm and dry, do not spoil it by hauling more food and equipment than your body can carry all day. Pemmican earns its reputation because it packs rendered fat and dried, powdered lean meat into a small, shelf-stable food. Parched corn does a simpler job. Dry kernels, easy to carry, useful carbohydrate. Both save bulk in the pack. Neither is a whole diet. Bring varied food too. And do not let a tump line talk you into a foolish load. It changes how you carry weight, but it does not repeal the knees, hips, feet, and lower back. Above about 30% of body weight, the strain goes up whether the load is on your forehead or in a modern pack. For most campers, a pack with a good hip belt is the sensible answer. I take a small set of tools because camp ought to make the walk worthwhile, not punish you for it. Before you soak rawhide or handle brain-tanned material, know that an improperly cured hide in warm, wet conditions can carry pathogens that cause skin infection or stomach illness. Properly cured rawhide is useful for a static binding because it swells wet and shrinks dry. But leave room for that shrinkage. It can crack a wooden handle, pinch a stock, or warp something flexible. Use cordage or hardware when you need adjustment. Beeswax is the better boot treatment for leather you own. Rendered fat can soften leather and go rancid. Wax can make boots hotter and sweatier, but there is no mountain man prize for questionable smelling boots, and if the boots are rented or borrowed, alter nothing. Keep that gear away from sparks and dry it gently. Good food and a sane load get you to camp. Then look up. The weather above camp may already be arguing with the screen in your hand. That does not make the phone useless. It makes the phone one part of the camp, not the whole camp. Forecasts and barometric information give you the broader picture and are generally better for planning a route, especially in complicated mountain country. Clouds and wind tell you what is happening where your tent is sitting right now. So when you get to camp, look at the sky and feel the wind before you settle in. Do they match the forecast you used to choose that site? If they do not, treat that mismatch as useful information. Tighten the shelter. Get dry layers where rain and sparks cannot reach them. Reconsider the fire plan while you still have daylight. Make the conservative decision before the weather makes it for you. I have slept in tents since I was a boy, camping with my dad, and most camp trouble I have seen begins this way. A plain little choice in decent weather. Then darkness comes, and that choice is expensive. The country does not care whether the mistake was old-fashioned or technical. It collects it after dark. And do not let a reflector, fire, or heated ground make you feel covered for the night. If wind rises, snow comes in, or the fire dies, you can be left under-insulated and cold in a hurry. Keep the rated sleeping pad, sleeping bag, or quilt, dry clothing, and a legal heat plan as the foundation. Read the sky as a backup system. Do not use it to replace the forecast or make safety-critical route decisions. If your knife gets duller, the more you sharpen it. Are you sharpening the edge or wearing steel away behind it? The next video explains why and shows the correct way to sharpen, so the edge cuts cleanly instead of getting thicker. Look at the edge before you touch the stone.